Welcome to My Love of Life Energy. I'm Anna Scott, your host. I love beautiful, rich conversations that reveal the truth, beauty, and uniqueness of each person I meet, and I'm honored to share them with you. Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And today, I'm honored and kind of jealous in the best way. I have the honor of interviewing Dr. Colette Sinclair, and she is the author of Emotional Posture, which I read, and it is a truly brilliant book in its simplicity, profoundness, and effectiveness. So I want to welcome you and thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad you liked the work.
I did like it. I loved with it and cherished it and believe in it wholeheartedly. I can see the power of what you're up to, and it's radical.
Thank you. Thank you for appreciating it.
Yeah, how did you what made you go, okay, I'm going to write this book and put this out there?
Well, I think that this work is transformative. I know that it is. And I've had a personal and professional evolution myself. Um, I've been studying the inner workings of people and the mind and emotions and the brain and the nervous system for a long time, for a couple of decades. That's the work that I've been doing. And so professionally, there's been this curiosity about what what is the most impactful path to transformation? How can we really be um, whole in our spirits and in our bodies, and how can we be more powerful in impacting our lives, and how can we really grow and change? So there was this evolution of my own work, which started out very clinical and assessing the unseen processes of the brain and the nervous system and the emotions, and then that moved into other things, energy medicine. It moved into orthomolecular medicine. I started dealing with cellular nutrition. I started seeing profound impacts in that way. And then I started studying spiritual disciplines and meditation before the mindfulness movement. So all of these pieces that were happening along the way really uh, became the accumulation of this work, where I realized that let's say this, the most efficient way to impact our biology is through our emotional states. And this is something that's free. It's something that we all have access to. Now, the piece that I think we really have to work with is conscious awareness and the discipline to access these states. That's something that we don't all have access to, that we probably have to work a little bit on training. So there was this piece of, my professional evolution, and then there was this piece of my personal evolution. And, my own, I would say, health journey. I didn't know that I had to go on a health journey and a transformative emotional journey, but I fundamentally believe that, we are here as spirits in bodies that are really, here to learn and grow and develop. And hopefully we do something, that contributes in the world. Hopefully, like in my life, it's very important to leave the world a better place in some small way. I think it's Mother Teresa said, we can do no great things, only small things with great love. I resonate
Uh,
with that so beautifully. It's, how are we as these individual droplets, how are we contributing to the whole? So that very much is who I am. Um, I will tell you that all of the pieces of this book are deeply personal to me, because, people meet me now. And they go, wow, you're so masterful. Your health is so dialed in. You look so much younger than your age, but I know the evolution of my personal life. I
Mm.
know that as a young child, I was completely malnourished, you know,
Mm.
and that, I didn't want to be malnourished, but there wasn't any opportunity for,
Yeah.
and then in my college years, I talk about this a lot, but in my college years, I was working multiple jobs and I
Mm.
was going to school full time and I didn't have any money. So I was living on, Pepsi Cola and
Wow.
pretzels and cans of corn, and it was ridiculous. So I came into my young adult life and, my actual clinical professional life having no knowledge of nutrition, cellular health, how food impacts the brain. I did not have that foundation.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that because, what I'm saying is that you can have a rocky foundation, and, the body is very intelligent in how it's able to heal and reorganize itself, So I just share that as one example to say, of course, now I eat for my brain primarily. I always say, if you take care of the brain, the body will follow. So for me,
Mm.
it's all about the brain. It's all about the nervous system. As females, we have to, consider, what our body needs in terms of, the influx of hormones. And so I very much eat in a conscious way now, and that contributes to energy and overall health. Um, but that's just one piece. That's just
Right.
one piece. And to tell you the truth, what I found personally is that in my own life, my body couldn't completely heal until the emotional causes were addressed, until all of those, um, uh, emotions were cleaned up. And
Mm.
Bessel van der Kolk, he talks about how the body stores trauma and how the body stores negative emotions. And,
Mhm.
the science has been unfolding for years about how toxic these negative emotional states are. And the
Mhm.
same is true for positive emotions and how those chemically influence us. So, the work that I created that you read that I'm so glad was helpful to you and that you resonated with, it's deeply personal to me as well. And I happen to know that this is the key. This is a very important key, especially for people who have any kind of chronic health issues or have overcome some kind of a disease or disordered or dysfunctional state. Um, it may be dormant, it may go into remission, but if you don't address and clean up your emotions on an ongoing basis, you're gonna have an issue because we're energetic beings and
Mhm.
we are resonating with everything around us. We're resonating with our
Mm.
environments, we're resonating with other people, we're resonating with, the chemistry that we're creating through
Mm.
our emotions and our thoughts. Uh,
Mm.
so this is, I do agree. I think it's a powerful message, and I look forward to hearing, many more people talk about this.
I'm so, what's so beautiful is that you have you talk about your emotional postures
Yeah.
that people can uh, practice and embody, like a posture, like I just sat up when you said posture, like my spine went vertical. And there was something beautiful you spoke about is that you can practice these, but they build on each other. Like the first one, I believe, is gratitude, if I'm remembering correct. And
Hmm.
it goes all the way up to love, but you can't get all the way to the love until you forgive or you have compassion. And am I understanding that correctly from what I read?
Yes. So think about it in terms of how, well, when we learn something, right? You have to build on one concept before you can connect another. But this is a little bit different because you're scaffolding consciousness through these emotional states, and you have to stabilize each state before you can really understand and embody the next one. And so you make a really important point for your listeners. And I actually wrote this book. For me, I was very intentional about how I wrote it because I know how humans operate. We are sometimes efficient, we are sometimes lazy, we are sometimes impulsive, and I knew that readers are just going to go, well, I don't have any of the. I want to go straight to forgiveness, or I want to go straight to love, or I want to go straight to gratitude. And so I wrote the book so that people could just go to that chapter and they could learn all about it. But eventually, that if they have enough assistance in reading that chapter, I know they're gonna go back and let's just say backfill. But this concept of scaffolding consciousness is really important because with gratitude, which I will tell you right now, gratitude and forgiveness are my most favorite postures. And I will also tell you that forgiveness was my least favorite posture. In my as my own consciousness, as I was scaffolding my own consciousness, I really had to root out um, any anything that I was unwilling to forgive. And there's things that I thought that I had forgiven that I hadn't. They were deeply buried. Um, but going back to gratitude, gratitude creates this receptive state in our body. So, when we give thanks and when we embody that state of appreciation, all of our cells become receptive. I talk a lot about the magnetic field around our body, the electromagnetic field around our body called the biofield. And that field actually becomes open and receptive. The information in that field starts changing when we embody gratitude. It's
I want to ask you, I'm going to pause you for a second because there's something you're saying that is so important, and it's the embodiment piece.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if you remember when Oprah came out with the gratitude book.
I
There
don't.
was a woman who wrote this book about gratitude, 365 days of gratitude.
Mm,
And there's something about embodiment that I want you to explain because, well, one, that's my jam. I'm 100% about embodiment. And I want you to explain what you mean by it because some people can think they're being grateful, but embodiment of it is very different.
that's right.
And I'd like you to speak to that because that to me is where the power is. That's where the transformation happens, is when somebody can embody this experience.
That's right. So it is the feeling state in our body.
Mhm.
So any emotion um, is an energetic imprint. It's an energetic state. So when we are embodied, we are fully expressed in that emotional state. So you make a very important point that a lot of people think that they're grateful or they think that they're mindful. Um, but being mindful is truly observing without
Mhm.
judgment,
Mhm.
right?
That's your awareness. That I loved how you wrote about awareness. I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, so when we are truly observing without judgment, that means that everything that's negative that shows up, we're not having an emotion with it. We are truly neutral. We are
Mhm.
truly neutral. And I don't see that happening a lot. And in terms of gratitude, when you are fully expressed in thankfulness, um, the body it's almost like an excited state of relaxation,
Mhm.
right? It's like I like to call it, um, and I'll just speak for me, it feels like a happy anticipation, you know? Like I'm and I am so grateful. For me, I want to make this point as well. You know, a lot of us pray before we eat. And some people think I'm weird because every time I go to eat, um, I am saying thanks. I'm giving thanks for a lot of different things, not just my food, but whatever occurs to me in that moment. But what I'm also doing is I'm creating
Mm.
a receptive state in my body so that my body can take in that nutrition and it can use it differently.
What I just felt in you when you're talking um, is I'm very sensitive, so I feel energy deeply. Is I feel the deep relaxation and the openness, like the deep openness that happens in your system.
Yes,
And you're creating the invitation. You're saying, okay, I'm relaxed, I'm here, I'm open to receive this.
that's right. That's
Yes.
absolutely right. And so, the other thing is for me, I like to set my tone every day with gratitude that my very first intention of the day, you know, and a lot of high performers, what they like to do is they like to determine between 1 to 3 um, priorities that they're
Mhm.
going to focus on completing that day. But for me, before I ever get to for the very first priority that I have is to honor every single thing I have to be thankful for. And that's a practice I started a long time ago. And I will also tell you that when I started that practice of honoring everything I have to be grateful for, I had to really scrape the bottom of the barrel. I was like, I promise you, I was like, thank you that I am mobile. Thank you that I have all my limbs. This is what I was giving gratitude for. And I and guess what? The brain is just so amazing because whatever we focus our attention on, we start to generate more of that. Our brain starts scanning around and looking for, hey, what else can we be grateful for? And it, you know, we get this momentum in our life. And now it's like, I mean, I don't have, I'm not willing to put the time commitment, but you know, I could really go on for an hour every morning for everything I have to be grateful for because the energy that comes back to me by honoring what I have, more keeps showing up. I'm so blessed beyond reason. And there the only explanation for it is energetically what I am creating, the way that I am communing with the universe and with everything around me. That is what is generating more blessings and more to be grateful for.
Well, it's beautiful. I actually see you becoming the infinite creator that you are then, like using your mind in infinite creation.
Definitely. I think, you know, here's the most important message of the book is that we all have the ability to be creators in our life. We have that ability, and most of us just need the tools for how to do that. And I really, and uh, I'm going to say this in a very cavalier way. I believe that is our God-given right to
Yeah.
be creators. And that if we are not creating, we are giving up our power.
Well, we are creating, we just don't see it. We're creating with the lower,
True.
like wait, like that is what I'm creating.
You could be creating a lot of destruction and a lot of chaos. Absolutely.
Well, I create fear and I create inadequacy. I create not enoughness
That's right.
rather than really opening up and seeing and feeling what I really do have.
You're absolutely right. You make an important point. We're creating every second of the day. So to be conscious
Yeah.
about what you're creating and then to direct that creation and magnify it, our emotions are
Uh,
supercharging it. And here's the thing. It's like if you don't get your emotional state behind what you're creating, it's like having a beautiful car with no gas in the tank. You're not going to go anywhere. You
I
know,
know.
you have to learn to align your emotions with your intention or your your conscious creation.
What I saw was that I can align my intentions, which is the where the fuel is in the love, the compassion, the joy, the gratitude. That's where the fuel is. That's where energy goes out. The fear, the worry is where the energy gets drained and sucked in, and there is no energy for that. So if we're what I saw so clear in your book was you're saying this is where the fuel is. If you want to create your life, these are the emotions that are going to give you the fuel. These are the ones you didn't talk to it, but by not giving them, these are the ones that won't give you anything. They'll eat you alive.
Well, yes, they will quite literally eat you alive. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what these disease states are all about, if you ask me. Okay, these negative emotions, they create destructive states in our body. Um,
Mhm.
there's a combination of things are going to create that, but definitely the emotions are keeping it alive. Um, but the other thing is that we are these vessels. We are
Mhm.
these um, energetic channels, these energetic vessels. And so the process of scaffolding your emotions and moving through these embodied states, you're clearing the vessel. You're clearing it. And we can't do a full flush all at once. We have to start to open ourselves up through gratitude, and then we have to work with the discomfort of accepting things that we can't control. And that's a
Mhm.
lot of that is about managing the ego. And this is one reason that I thought Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Theory, I thought that that was so great because she basically made acceptance palatable for the masses, you know?
Mhm.
Like and that's what it is. The let them theory that it's acceptance, and acceptance is very hard because our our ego wants certainty. Our ego wants to get in there and control the outcome. But if we say, "You know what? It's going to be what it's going to be, and I'm this person's responsible for their own journey and their own development, and I'm just going to be responsible for my emotions and my awareness and my growth." It really is a game changer.
Yeah.
And what it allows us to do, this let them there, what it allows us to do is to actually relax.
Yeah.
And we can't build anything without a state of relaxation. You can't get into these higher realms unless you're relaxed and unless you're coherent. And if you're controlling and you're not open, then you cannot be coherent, which is the state of ease.
Yeah.
So the state of ease is, my body, I'm going to allow my body and my mind to shift down, right? I'm going to allow my body to be relaxed, to well, first of all, we can't even heal if the body's not relaxed, if we're stressed, if we're geared up, if we are going after something, the body can't heal. And also, we are mismanaging our energy. So the
Mhm.
energy that is innate to us, that we can create through our thought and through our emotion, when we're geared up because we're in high stress states, all of that energy is being drained. Uh, So,
Mhm.
so our ability to create is greatly diluted.
What I just saw with you, which is really interesting, I do this work and it's with the Sarah McCrum and it's about deep relaxation. So I spend maybe 5 hours a week just relaxing. Like that's the point. But what I just saw with you is that the energy is running so fast, but it's not going anywhere. It's just burning itself. It's not directional. It doesn't move when it has that kind of push energy.
That's
And what
right.
you're inviting people into is to a calm, relaxed, natural flow state.
That's right. And, we can accomplish more by doing less.
Mhm.
And we've really been primed beautifully for this. If you think about some of the work that's come out over the last 20 years, I think that collectively, society has been primed for this idea that, you can uh, you can accomplish more by doing less. It's
Mhm.
how we choose to direct our energy. And so that is something that, especially living in Southern California, it feels very unnatural. Okay. And even, hey, let's just broaden that to being an American. You know, America, this is one of the, we are just collectively such a stressful nation. It's all about productivity, it's all about profit, it's all about bottom line. It's filling up every single moment in your day. And that is what your worth as a being is based on, is how productive you are and how profitable you are. I mean, it is ridiculous. I'm glad you laugh because it's
It
absolutely
seems like.
ridiculous. And this is the propaganda that we're all being fed. And what does it do? It keeps us limited. It
Mhm.
keeps us disembodied because if you're going all the time, you're producing all the time, not only are you out of balance, but you're so far away from your true nature. Your
Mm.
nature is to create.
Mm.
Your, you know, and I would say your nature is to create through emotion.
Mm. Well, I think the what I see is, and I love that love was the last one, the last emotion. It's like I think love, my experience is when I tap into that vibration of love, that its nature is creative.
Oh, yes.
Like it is, that is what love does, is it creates effortlessly.
Thank you for saying that. Yes. Effortlessness, effortless creation.
Mhm.
And that's a really strong point that things that are created that really end up very successful, they are things that are created out of love. Like think about some of the people that you like, uh, I don't know. I'm just pulling an example off the top of my head, but think about Jack Canfield, right? When he wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Okay, he believed in this book. He believed in it. It kept getting rejected, rejected, rejected. And he loved this piece of work. So he kept seeking publishers. And then he got some little no-name publisher who published it. He loved it. He believed in it.
Mm.
He kept going with, and then the little thing blew up,
Mm.
you know? So I mean, but that's just one example. Think about all of the wonderful objects, products, services, inventions that have come to life because somebody loved that idea. Somebody loved that service, that product, that whatever it was. Look at your show, right? You're
Yeah.
in love with uh, being of service to people,
Mhm.
um, and introducing people and highlighting people. You're in love with it. So
Mhm.
yes, it's not, I would imagine. I mean, I'm sure there are days where it's not so fun to show up, but in general, it's something you love. You keep coming back to it, and it doesn't take a lot of work. It's the same
Mm.
thing for me in my the work that I do, which, I very much, because I know that this work is so transformative, that's what I really enjoy working with people on the emotional posture curriculum, because I know it's completely transformative. But when I go into the office, and I do, several times a week, and I spend all day there, it's a joy for me. Now,
Mm.
sometimes I have difficult people on my calendar, sure. But in general, I love seeing people heal and grow. I love it. So
Yeah.
it's something I'm creating continually. But love as a posture, um, it's so important to understand because a lot of people, again, a lot of people think that they're loving, but you know, they could be playing with love. They can be playing with it, but really embodying love means um, I care about what's best for you. I care about what's best for the whole, the group, the collective, I allow you to do what's necessary for you. I love you whether you like me or not.
Yeah.
Love is a very unconditional and transformative state. And
I love it. Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
it has healing properties. So when love is present, um, healing is accelerated. And there have been multiple studies that have demonstrated this, but there's one in particular. You might be familiar with this work because of the nature of your work. Um, Greg Braden talks about, I think there's some doctors in Bangkok. He publicized this study. He wrote about this study. It's all over social media. It's very easy to locate. But Greg Braden is the one who popularized it, and he talks about these Chinese doctors that actually will heal disease states in the body, and you can see it on an ultrasound. You can see the tumors dissolving, and all they're doing is holding the frequency of love. Three
Yeah.
Chinese doctors holding the frequency of love, and you can actually observe the tumor dissipate. I mean, if that's not energy at its finest, I don't know what is.
Sorry. When I feel that much love, I just burst out laughing. It's because of the joy. It's like I know the truth of it. And I think this is my experience is that as human beings, we've forgotten what real love feels like.
That's
It's
right.
like we're eating, what I say is we're eating Domino's pizza and we forgot what homemade, out of the oven, real pizza can taste like. But once our body remembers it, underneath all of my fear is this true vibration of love that I am, that you are, that we all are. And I forgot what that vibration is.
That's right.
But
That's,
that's why the power is, it's so beautiful.
that's a great way of putting it.
It's why we're coming to our end, which I can't believe. You have a beautiful, beautiful website. So I want you to promote that? The book is Emotional Posture. You can see all my things that I tagged in big circles. But what's your website and where can people find you?
People can find me at ColetteSinclair.com. People can find me on Instagram at Dr. Colette Sinclair. Um, I have a brick and mortar in Encinitas, but I see people all over the world virtually. Uh,
Great, wonderful. Well, it's
yeah,
beautiful work. Candace Perk, I read her book when it first came out. So when I saw that you had referred to her, I was like, wow, this
she's
is a soul
amazing.
sister. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so much love. Thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you nothing but love.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And if you're interested in my work, I'm Anna Scott. You guys can check me out on my website. Bye bye.